And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to a spring training edition, baby. Spring training is here. Edition of the Put in the Book show. Spring training edition number 1 of 2021. I am Steve. As always, I'm joined by my good buddies. I got Keith right over there to my left.
Yo.
There he goes. I got Rodriguez. Beautiful shirt right down there. If you were listening on the podcast, you can't see the shirt. So you should join us on Facebook and know it's a beautiful thing. You stretch out a little bit. Can't
see it. Can't see it. Feels good.
For all of you that are listening on the podcast after the show is over, Rodriguez is wearing a shirt. It's a beautiful shirt. I have the same shirt. I think Joe does too. Keith, we got to get you on the shirt bandwagon. I also have a sign in the studio. It says "Meet Dick." Dick is a Yankees fan. Don't be a dick. So there it is. That is those are inspiring words to live by on this show. A lot to talk about. As always, already some injury news out there. We signed a few more players over the weekend. We'll talk a little bit about Vegas for all you degenerates out there. And we'll go. Now's the time.
You mean you?
Hey. Now's the time where we start talking about the top 10 lists that are done by MLB Network. So we're going to kick that off this week with starting pitchers and relief pitchers. So lots of stuff to talk about, and we'll get to it right after Keith talks to us about Brooklyn Water Coffee Roasters.
Brooklyn Water Coffee Roasters.com, from the roastery to your front door. Only the finest beans are selected for your coffee, your pleasure, your awakening moment in the early hours of the day. Brooklyn Water Coffee Roasters.com. My favorite thing about Brooklyn Water Coffee Roasters is their 50% more caffeine line, and that's 50% more caffeine per cup. They have some delicious flavors in that line, such as Cinnabuzz. What's that? Cinnabuzz. 50 cent. They also have what we like to call our friend Rodriguez Jacked Up Cupcake. It's a rich chocolatey. It's a rich vanilla cupcake flavored coffee. We're not up to the chocolate one yet. Cinnabuzz, I didn't describe the flavor because it should be self-explanatory. DM us if you don't understand what that means. Then there is the regular caffeine line, which is still pretty strong and delicious. One of my favorites is Morning Wood, which is what I get every day when I think of Farace. Then there's also one of my favorite, which is Dark Roast Dark Chocolate. It's really not my favorite. I just said that for the air, but it is delicious, and it's chocolatey. It's rich. It's delicious. It's probably filled with calories, right, Farace? How many calories are in a cup of Dark Roast Dark Chocolate?
Settle.
Boom. So you can enjoy a cup, a 2-cup, a 3-cup, a 4-cup, whatever makes you happy, and have no guilt. I don't know if you can make your coffees into milkshakes and put a bunch of sugar and cream and other crap in there. Then you're adding calories. That's your problem. But you could just drink a cup of black, delicious, dark roast, dark chocolate.
They bring all the boys to the yard. Protein, yes. Throw some protein powder, a little protein shake in there.
Yeah, whatever floats your boat. Then there's also the other line of coffee, which is not flavored. There is the medium roast coffee, which I think is hands down the most popular coffee that Brooklyn Water Coffee Roasters sells. It is delicious. www.brooklynwatercoffeeroasters.com. Check them out online now, later, anytime. Just do it. If you act now, as you see on the scroll on the bottom that producer Joe put up, Pop Culture Pros. Use that on your checkout. Buy 3 bags. The third one is on us. Pop Culture Pros. Buy 2 bags. The third one free. www.brooklynwatercoffeeroasters.com, from their roastery to your front door. All the coffee is guaranteed to ship within 24 hours of its roast date. Check them out now. Buy it now. Pop Culture Pros is the code you use.
.com. Good stuff there. Coffee is my life. Coffee is part of my being, for the day. Get my day going.
You said coffee is part of your being? Get it?
Part of my being and my being. It's part of my being, and then it becomes part of my being afterwards. All right. Let's go Mets. The divide line. What's up, man?
Morning Wood.
Morning Wood. Don't let the morning wood die. That becomes a problem. All right. Pitchers and catchers report today across baseball. It is phenomenal time of the season where we get to actually get through all this stuff this year. Because rewind to last year, we went through all this stuff. We went through all the getting ready for the season. Went through all of our previews, all that good stuff, and then stop it right there. Pandemic hits. All is to shit until August.
Thank you.
So,
thank you, COVID.
Yeah, thank you, COVID. Jerks.
Thank you, bat eaters.
Douche of a stupid virus. All right. So with spring training comes hope and dreams for even the worst of teams. But also
except Baltimore.
Except for Baltimore. Come on. If you're a Baltimore fan today you're like, all right, the Orioles are going to be doing great. They started off 2-18, and they're like, oh, no, all right, this is going to happen again. But especially over the last 5-6 years, the start of spring training comes a whole bunch of signings because that's just the way the market is now. People are stretched out. People don't have a job right now, and they just start falling left and right, signing after signing after signing. Paxton and Bauer and all these guys are now getting signed. Justin Wilson over the weekend signed elsewhere also. We'll get to who we signed, but first I wanted to start off with, let's get the bad news out of the way. Seth Lugo. Timmy, what's up, man? Seth Lugo, we hear over the weekend, he's going in for surgery. He's not going to throw for about 6 weeks. And to Rodriguez, your point, and in our chat, it was a long time coming. It's been a while. He knew that he was going to have to go in there and clean up. My only issue with it is, why didn't he do it in October? But I digress on that. What do you guys think about this? Does this make it even more important that we go out and try and sign like a Rosenthal, who we'll get to in a little bit? Does it become that much more vital for us to sign somebody and put in that spot? Rodriguez, what do you think?
Well, I think that's why they've been. Oh, there's a baby. Is that a baby?
The baby.
A baby.
Yeah, that's the rest of the league crying.
Oh, is that Keith?
No, I said it's the rest of the league crying for us.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So listen, here's what happened with the Lugie thing. He can't go get that thing scoped out and fixed because it's not hurting him. I mean, he had a problem when he started throwing again. There's loose bones or loose cartilage. There's something loose in that elbow. And he's had it for a while. He's pitched through it. He's rehabbed it. He did the Japanese guy from the Yankees. What's his name? That just went back
Tanaka.
to Japan. Tanaka. He did the same thing. Takaka, yeah, just like Takaka. he rehabbed it and chose to grind his way through it. So it was going to happen, and you're only going to know if there's an issue when you start throwing. So, I get it. I mean, really start throwing hard.
The hardness of the throws.
And that's why we guys, dudes. I mean, when you start ramping it up towards and making it more real towards where you're gonna start pitching in spring training games and a league, you start amping up a little bit, and that's what happens. But we got a lot of relievers, man. We've been stacking up on middle relievers. We've been stacking up on guys to bring up and down. I mean, for this particular reason. Now, it would be nice to get the guys that you mentioned, Trevor Rosenthal. It would be nice to get him in place of Lugie, and then Lugie could take his time and come back healthy. That would be wonderful. So maybe the Mets can make that happen. I mean, Keith, what do you think?
We have a famous icon joining us.
Yeah, I did want to say that. Mr. Cowbell, Eddie the Cowbell Man.
Oh, very nice.
You're the biggest celebrity ever to watch us on this bad boy. And I don't care who's been watching us. So we appreciate your support. Right. We appreciate you watching. Definitely let's go Mets, and feel free to chime in however you like here. Keith,
all the comments.
Talk to me about the Luke.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what is it? 6 weeks he's supposed to be out. Then he's going to start
6
rehabbing
weeks before he can throw. Yeah.
So you figure 8 to 10 weeks. There's a good potential he might be back. That's going to be still in the first half of the season. It's not going to be a killer to us. And as a matter of fact, it may actually benefit us if he's able to come back and slowly get back into a routine having missed a few weeks in the beginning of the season, so that way a little less wear and tear on the arm. Although the hope is that surgery prevents any further wear and tear on that arm. To Rodriguez's point, this is something that has been lingering. We've known about it for a couple of years now. Let's get out of the way right now while we're building depth. This is going to be a challenge throughout the season. This is baseball, folks. We're going to have people go in. Yeah, we're going to have people in and out. And that's why you see all of these signings, which we're going to get into later in the show. And a lot of Met fans, they want us to sign strictly every single top free agent out there, but it's not how it works. What you do is you go and you build depth. You get some pieces around the team that are going to carry the team, and you build depth to get you through those injury portions, and we'll be fine. If we go ahead and sign what's his name, that reliever that's out there that we've been talking about offline constantly, even better. His name starts with an R.
What's the name?
His last name starts with an R. His agent's last name starts with a B.
Ends in an ass.
Yeah, ends in an ass. That'll be huge, and he's been a pretty consistent, solid reliever. The R guy.
Yeah, I mean, and he's had some really outstanding seasons at the beginning of his career, and it's definitely something that we've gotten better at doing these last few seasons, and even more so, I think this year. I know a lot of people are down on some of the signings that we're going to get to here in a couple minutes, but just think about it. Think about the mold that is successful in the National League. And that is, unfortunately, we got to look to a team, and that's the Los Angeles Dodgers. And the Dodgers have, for the last 10 years, have won that division, I think, every single season. And they've done it, yes, with their stars, but then they've also done it with guys 20 through 25 and now 26. So, I mean, if you look at that and you look at some of the guys who are stars now, they started off as the 21st guy. The fifth guy off the bench.
It's a lot
Max
easier.
Muncy.
It's a lot easier to be that guy when you have superstars in front of you playing.
Yeah.
You can actually worry about getting cut every few seconds.
Right,
so
cut.
That's the Dodgers have the money to back themselves up with the young guys. So I mean, come on.
Yes.
Screw
and
you,
now
Dodgers.
we do too. So now we do too. In the past we didn't. We did, but we just didn't do it. But to that point, we signed Almora last week, center fielder, very good with the glove, so with the bat. He's had his moments, and still a youngish guy. And so let's now take a look at another center fielder. So this signing in Kevin Pillar, think about what some of the fans were saying. Yes, it's redundant. Maybe it's redundant. Now you got Nimmo. Now you got Almora. And now you got Pillar coming in. And so now, immediately it's Met. The Met fans all over the message boards. Oh, maybe it's setting up for a trade. I don't think it's setting up for a trade. It's okay to have these guys who are getting paid, $1.5 million for the year. It's okay that they go to Syracuse. It kind of goes hand in hand with what we're talking about now, with all the depth and hop, skip, and a jump away in Syracuse. So let's look at Pillar and what he brings. On top of his hitting stats, he used to be a Gold Glove center fielder, kind of fallen off a little bit with age. I'm not sure how old he is. Cornet, yes, he is a center fielder for. That's what he was signed for. So here's his stats here, and you can see he's had some very good seasons. He's had a season in there where he got a bunch of MVP votes. So this is no slouch out there. He can produce, and he can still field his position, albeit not at the same level as he once did. Keith, what's your take on this? Yeah, Cornet. That's the way to think about it. Should not be a center fielder, but he is.
Cornet from MetsJunkies.com. Cornet is not a Pillar fan.
.com.
But if you go ahead and check out Pillar's stats, the guy's got some pop and he's got a bat. A lot of times in the past, we've hired guys who are strictly all glove and they'd bat 180 with 3 home runs, and we end up optioning or DFAing them or getting rid of them. This guy Pilar, he's a viable backup. I don't think, believe it or not, if I was looking at stats, his stats look like he has fallen off tremendously. He might even be below average as a center fielder at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But as a guy on the bench who can come off and pinch hit with some pop or fill in to give other guys a rest, they're going to start playing him on the left side of the field too, which he's had some experience. Not recently, but he has had some experience. It's a great signing. He's a veteran presence. He's been around major leagues for quite some time. The guy, look at his stats. He's hit 15 plus home runs every year, and as early as 2019, he's hit 21 home runs, and his average is pretty decent throughout the years too. He's no slouch. This guy's going to pick up, some slack on the bench. One of the biggest problems the Mets have had, and one of the biggest reasons we've been losing, is not only the bullpen but our depth. We've had no depth. We've been signing these guys who, like I was saying before, bat 180 and hit 2 home runs. It's just not going to work. So we're trying something different out. I'm all for it. I like Pilar. He's versatile, veteran presence, and I think he'll be good. But I think it's also something else that a lot of people are not noticing. His signing is also a show of confidence in Nimmo, I think. I think the Mets, maybe they see something in Nimmo defensively. Maybe he's done some work in the offseason. Maybe he's trained. I don't know all the details on that.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, so I'm hoping them not getting Jackie Bradley or something like that is a sign of confidence in Nimmo and what he has to offer going forward.
Yeah, and Cornet said he's fine as a corner outfielder. Agreed on that. And Eddie the Cowbell man says good move. Rodriguez. So interesting that Keith, you said that you think this is a move that shows confidence in Nimmo. Rodriguez, looking at it potentially from the other side of the spectrum, is this to put pressure on Nimmo? He's got now 2 guys that could kind of compete in center field. Now everything changes if tomorrow they say, okay, hey, here the DH is in, because it's still, the door is squeaked open. Which, if they do go with the DH, there is that potential now that the Mets do go out and sign Jackie Bradley Jr. and move Nimmo to left and have Dom Smith or Alonso, switch out between DH and first base. But do you see it as a confidence boost in Nimmo or driving competition there?
Well, I mean, if you look at Nimmo's career right now, I mean, if we're going to go into talking about Nimmo, I'm all for that. But if you look at his career, he's been hurt a lot. The only time he's put up good numbers is 1 year when he was kind of not hurt. The kid can play. Let's not be crazy about this. The kid can actually really play. So, How do you make a diamond? You apply pressure. That's what they're doing. They brought in 2 guys that could actually play over him. They have a guy sitting on the bench, that could take his spots in the corner outfield if they want to. Dominic Smith is right there. You got J.D. Davis that can play the outfield. You got the Squirrel that can play the outfield. There's a lot of guys that can play outfield. I absolutely love that name, Flying Squirrel, right? So, yeah. by the way, there's a lot of guys that can play outfield. So Nimmo's not alone. Nimmo has to feel some pressure and he has to perform. Have you seen Nimmo lately? The last few days, I've seen him working out. He's skinny as all heck. He knows he needs that speed and needs that quickness to cover that center field. Let me tell you something. Citi Field is a big dang center field. Okay, I played it. I almost killed myself. Just like doggy. I almost died. Okay, the thing's like a mile long. It's a huge field. So we need some good defense out there, and I think he can provide it. But the big reason he's out there is because of his bat. His getting on base percentage, his on base percentage is the only thing that's going to keep him on the team. And if he does that with a 280 and 20 home runs, he's golden. He's a top 10 center fielder in the league. That's MLB, boys. They said it, not us.
So and he's a 400 on base average guy. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, and he's a beast at getting on base.
They're not a dime a dozen. That is unique. And
Moneyball.
Like Polish him. Get him up there. Right. Get him up there. Get his defense going. He's young. He's talented. He's eager. He can do it. And if he gets his defense improved any amount with a 400 or close to 400 on base average on the top of that lineup, he's dangerous. Nimmo, that is.
Yeah, and if
Listen, there's stuff that he can't get to. Period. There's stuff that he can't get to, and you can't prorate him to another center fielder. You got to prorate him to what he is. If he makes all the standard plays and an occasional, fantastic one, I'm good with that. But the way he runs, his speed, the way he judges ball, there's some balls he's not gonna get to. Just like there's other ones that Pilar is gonna get to, and he's older than Nimmo. That's all there is to it. Just don't love the stats, people, so much. Watch the guy play. Sometimes you have to watch the guy play.
Yep. So and Sean is saying, so Pilar's an insurance policy in case the oft injured Nimmo is injured, as he oft is. Yeah, I mean, look.
Well said.
Look, if there's two guys on this team that I am confident in busting their ass to get to the next level, it's Nimmo and it's Alonso. To improve themselves on the defensive end. I hope JD Davis does the same. I just, I don't know JD Davis as well as I know the other two. Hopefully he's putting in the work. No, nobody could ever. If you question Nimmo's effort ever, then you're out of control. His effort in the field, on the bases, is something wrong. Really? Something wrong. All right, let's move on to the next signing as we now kind of move back towards pitching. Mike Montgomery is another guy that we brought in. Brought in, and so
you're putting the book show brought him in.
Yeah, we did that. We did that. Sometimes we talk to each other and we say, "Look, can you shoot a text over to Sandy? Let's get this done." Rodriguez uses our connection.
And I got some pictures back. Actually, it was an accident. I meant to text Sandy. I text Porter, and I got some fishy pictures. He thought I asked for a picture. I was asking for a picture. Anyway.
All right. So Mike Montgomery, he's played in Seattle, Chicago, and KC. There you see his stats. He's a career 3.84 ERA, under 500. But again, we know how that goes, especially when you're playing for crappy teams like Seattle. Not so much with Chicago, but with Kansas City last year. But he hasn't done himself any favors either. 5.06 last year, which again is we don't read too much into that, but 4.95 the year before. And then the rest of the years under 4, and 2016 great season, 2.52 ERA, a WHIP of 1.17, and batting average against 219. But you see, in the years leading up to now, batting average against 272, 315, 286. So Mike Montgomery is one of these guys. Rodriguez, if you agree with me on this, is bring him in. See if our pitching coach can find a little tweak here and there. It's funny. Baseball has always been a game of inches, right? And what we talked a few episodes back, maybe more than a few, but about Steven Matz, his positioning on the rubber to first base side, and that made a huge difference. And then they got away from it, but. Do you agree that bringing in a low risk kind of guy like this to see if you can find a tweak here and there to get him back to that maybe a year where he had a 2.52 ERA?
Well, that's what they're doing with every guy they're bringing in, right? They're bringing in all these low level guys that are, that can. There's a couple of good guys like Trevor May, fantastic pitcher. He said he's ready, but these guys like this Montgomery and McDonald. What's the other guy? McDonald. The guy that they brought in the other day, and he's like 6'9", fireballer, fantastic guy. That's what
everybody wanted him.
That's what everybody wanted him. We got him. That's weird, So, the pitching coach, his job is to make sure that he can tweak this guy. He can help him. He can either make him step to the left side of the rubber, move up, move a little bit up, move an inch up. Don't skip and hop when you throw a ball to the plate. Diaz, don't get me started again.
Okay? No, don't do that. You're on the positive side of Diaz. Don't do it.
I am. Okay. So, but that's what the pitching coach is there for. That's why I'm bringing these guys. 3.8 ERA, it's not bad. You want your bullpen guys to be 3 and under, obviously, because you don't want them coming in and giving up runs like crazy. They're not going to pitch that many innings anyway. But if you have guys in the bullpen that are between 3 and high 3.8, 3 and 3.2, somewhere in that range, you've got a pretty good bullpen, and you're going to be successful the whole year.
I don't know about you guys, but I want to see how many more cliches Sean Lilly can throw out there for us.
He's the cliche king, right? I've noticed that.
Yes.
He does throw a lot of cliches out there.
Throw them against the wall. See if it sticks.
Something's
like stick. A lot of these guys, run them up the flagpole. See if anybody salutes. Love it.
Finally.
Put them on a Greyhound. See if he gets out of Cooperstown.
This Montgomery signing, I would say in the past this is confusing. It's not confusing. I'm more curious where he's going to fit on the team. He's going to either be a AAA starter and ready to come up when we need him, or he's going to be a lefty out of the bullpen. I'm voting right now lefty out of the bullpen, especially with Lugo down. But
that's up to him. That's up to him. He's got to pitch. Make it.
Well, he's going to compete, right? But as a lefty, he does get a leg up just a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah, leg up.
I get leg up. See, I got you, Sean. And for the record, Sean's working on more for us. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, please. They're very entertaining. I mean that would be good considering that we just lost Justin Wilson. So some perspective. I was listening to a podcast today, and they were talking about the different Zoom meetings that all these different teams are having about where they rank certain people, and so the podcast talked about how the Mets had Loop ranked above Wilson, and the Yankees had Wilson ranked above Loop, and so the Mets got Loop, the Yankees got Justin Wilson.
You go.
It's not always about right. No. It's not always about you didn't want him bad enough, or they rejected your offer or whatnot. I mean, a lot of Met fans out there are seeing all these signings going on and saying the Mets are striking out everywhere. It's not. It's that the Mets are just willing to go where the Mets are willing to go. Think back. I mean, Keith has been adamant about
they have a plan. They're going to follow their plan.
Right, and Keith has been adamant about no Bauer. So the Mets did value Bauer at a lot of freaking money. But they did not find the sense in doing 2 years, $85 million, and then an opt-out where this guy can just go bolt and then take the next deal that comes.
Right. The Dodgers decided
and the Dodgers did that.
And to see if he turns into Mona Lisa. Sean Lilly.
He's a hometown guy. He's from the area, so the Dodgers could play that card. Mets couldn't.
Yeah, and play. You guarantee, which is 2 years, $85 million. That's a lot of freaking money.
That contract was way ridiculous. I'm happy we didn't sign him for that kind of money, to be honest. But anyway, moving on.
A lot of money.
We beat that horse.
And you know what?
More than once.
I would have been okay with what the Mets offered him, not what the Dodgers did. All right, let's move it on to a veteran pitcher who has been he used to be a starter, then he became a reliever, and his name is Tommy Hunter. And Tommy Hunter he pitched for the Rangers back in the day. He pitched for Baltimore. I think it was in Baltimore where they converted him from a starter to a reliever. And just looking at his stats, I want to say that's accurate. 3-2, 2.97 ERA and whatnot. So, overall, his win-loss is held down from being a reliever. He pitched for Philadelphia the last few seasons. Did okay for Philadelphia, 3.80 ERA. I don't know if he started some of those games or what. But this is just another veteran arm. He's 30. Say again?
Looks like he was coming off an injury last year, too.
2020?
2019.
Oh, 2019. So
yeah. So last year he was coming in off of an injury.
Or they brought him in late in season. I don't know. I don't know what the scenario was there. Screw Philadelphia. But another veteran to come in, 34 years old, knows what he is doing. Brian Hom sucks. And Brian Hom texted me a little while ago. He said baseball is back, and then flipped off the Mets. So that's to you, Brian Hom.
Here we go, Brian Holmes.
You're in for a season, baby. All right.
Well, let's remember this is a minor league contract. Just to throw that out there, I don't know if you mentioned that. You did. Okay, no, it's a minor league contract, which is a big deal, right? So again, this is going to be somebody that's. He'll get a chance probably with a lot of other folks in spring training to earn a spot, but this is going to be one of those guys that sit in the wings and wait. And when somebody goes down, because it will happen eventually, hopefully it's just something like a sore muscle or something like that. But we have a veteran to lean into, not some kid who doesn't know the game and hasn't been around. We have a veteran who's been there, done that, to come in and hopefully get some outs for us in the later innings.
Yep. Eddie talking about there's going to be a lot of competition. Sorry, Rodriguez.
Like that down in, sorry about that. Yeah. So if you keep a guy like that down in the minors, what happens is you monitor him. When he's hot and he's striking people out, bring him up. Give somebody up in the majors a spell and let them take a break. Let them maybe not pitch for a few days. Bring the guy who's hot. Next man up. It's going to be all year with these Mets. That's the type of team that they're planning to make. So. There's a lot of these guys that they're signing, like Keith said, it's a minor league contract. They're signing them specifically to be at AAA at our beck and call and be ready to come down and play any night, any given day. So
exactly. Hey, if he wins a spot out of spring training, more power to him.
Yeah, either or, but it's all about surplus.
Hey, Dave.
Exactly.
Welcome to the show, Dave.
Yeah, Dave watching on YouTube, enjoying the chit chat. Thank you very much, sir.
Hey, Dave.
All right. So, look, for all you guys watching out there, these moves are about depth. They're not about, Kevin Pillar is going to go back to his glory days and get MVP votes this year. That's not what it could happen, but that's not what this is about. This is about adding depth and again, don't go back to thinking that we're missing out on guys. George Springer, we made an offer. We made a solid offer. Toronto decided to go above and beyond what he was probably valued at. Same thing with Bauer. So, the Mets are sticking to the plan that they created at the beginning when Cohen took over. Do your due diligence. When was the last time we were in on it? We are talking to every single free agent out there. That's not something that has been happening over the last decade or so.
Yeah, but it's not just talk. It's not just
exactly right.
Saying, "What's up? What you gonna do?"
But my point is that in the previous 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 years, we've not even spoken to some of these people. So now at least the conversations are happening, and if it's a conversation of whoever, and it's like a little bit too rich for my blood, and we don't value that, at least the conversation was had. Who knows what free agents might have signed here if we just had the conversation with them. What is not possible. Sean says it seems like AAA teams have become less where the prospects who are almost ready to go and more where the veteran depth pieces go. Yeah,
yes,
especially with the Mets. So exactly, especially with the Mets where it's a hop, skip, and a jump. Syracuse, we need you. Boom, come on, let's go. So all good things, for sure. Somebody on the radar, Trevor Rosenthal. So Trevor Rosenthal used to be really, really solid reliever for the Cardinals, and then he got hurt. Went through some growing pains along the year. Another cliche we got? What do we got?
Yes, we do.
Sean, I also don't think any of the big fish were slam dunks. Yeah, no, that's
like
also true.
That's like two cliches in one, kind of. You get double credit for that one, Sean.
Double. So Rosenthal had a couple of years of 46 and 48 saves, and again, if we sign Trevor Rosenthal, don't think we're not signing him to be that guy. We're not signing him to be our closer. We're not signing him to go out there every night in pressure situations. Everybody's going to have their role. They're going to know it, and that's what they're here for. So don't think that we're trying to reclaim everybody and we're signing all these vets and it's because we hope that they go back to 10 years ago when they were phenomenal all-stars. That's just not the case. These are all depth moves.
No, and let's face it, our bullpen has been rough. There's a lot of ways I can put it, and I'll just keep it short and sweet. Our bullpen has been rough. There's been a lot of highlights in there, like a Lugo last year only Diaz, because before that it was a nightmare. But we need arms in that pen. We need arms with experience. We don't necessarily need superstars. We need arms with experience and guys that we can just throw out there and not wear them out. Like we were wearing out Lugi at certain points last couple of years. We need other guys we can throw in there.
Out of necessity, right?
Bullshit. Get out of here.
Rodriguez,
He wants to be a starter, and he can pitch 2 or 3 innings every other day. Punk.
So they say they don't adapt to between the two very well, and he's whined about that a lot. But but to his credit, he's embraced the reliever role well. He's done a great job, and through his whining, he went out there and performed. So you got to give him some credit.
I'm not going to take credit away from him. He's a whiny little titty girl
that performs well. That's all that we care.
Oh, wow. Whine all you want, bro. Just get him out.
Just get these guys out. Sean says Springer would have been nice. He's also going to be a corner outfielder in 2 years, 100%. Bauer would be nice, but he's a twit.
Why sign him?
I think. Not to over. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, not to kill this again, another horse beating to death, but I think they overpaid for him, and I'm glad we didn't overpay for him because to that point, he's not going to be the same player at his age he is in 2 years, and you're going to be paying him a junk load of money, and it's going to tie up payroll. So, it would have been nice, but it's not there, so move on and look at the positives, and that's the positive.
They're looking to win championship right now.
That's true also. You can tell, right, by the way they're trucking through this offseason. This is the most busy offseason in the history of the Mets that I'm aware of.
It's been a good offseason for everybody. It's fun. Let's play games. Let's play, man.
Which we talked about. We said that this is going to be the offseason that we're not used to. And we talked about how stressful it was going to be. And it has been just that because you hear name after name after name after name. So now, would you rather hear all these names or just dead radio silence and Mets? Oh, we got to be creative and have a 162 game plan and one guy for every game at first base.
My language.
Exactly.
Creative shit, put in the ball and shove it back up your ass where it came from.
Shove it up your arse. Terzio, what's up, man?
Wow. Creative.
Terzio joining us.
That's what we've been hearing our whole life. Got to be creative. We got to work with. No, let's just go out there, and that's what we've been doing. And we didn't get everybody, and that's fine.
Stupid.
Other teams knew we were out there, and quite frankly, these free agents, they should send us a commission check because they're getting as much as they did because we were bidding on them too.
Yep, exactly. Imagine the Mets weren't interested in Bauer. The Dodgers wouldn't have had to go to 2 years, 85.
They would have paid him. Yeah, they would have paid him like 2 years, $50 million.
Or he was going to sit at home on his ass. All right, moving right along here. Let's really quick. Just tons of money being put on the Mets this year to win the World Series, and I'm in it. Terzio said he missed last week's show, so sorry. We will forgive you this time. We're kind-hearted. Yeah,
you get one.
Hope all's well in your area. Yes, don't make it a streak. You didn't do that this week. All right, so based on odds in Vegas now, the Mets came into this offseason before Steve Cohen, and they were 16th in baseball in odds to win the World Series. Now they have shot all the way up the reins with this terrible offseason that we've had. All you Mets fans in those groups, we've shot up to 6th. We are now number 6 in odds for the World Series. Number one is the Dodgers, and absolutely they deserve to be there. They won the whole damn thing last year, and they got better. This year, the Yankees are number 2. The Padres, who have had a ridiculous offseason in the city, baby. The Padres are number 3. They're third. They've shot up a lot, but we've seen this before, and I'm not saying that it's going to happen again. But the Padres kind of try to load up, and then they just fall on an 81 season.
Padres have a squad. But I don't see them yet. I think they need another year or two. They got some young, super talent on that team.
The left side of that infield is
Dodgers eventually. I hope.
between Tatis and Machado and all these guys, now their pitching staff is ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous.
We'll see in the playoffs, Padres. Then 4, you got a couple teams tied there with the Braves and the White Sox up at number 4. So the Mets come in at number 6. So all the odds and stuff, they have us at like 82% to make the playoffs. And we're hoping that rings true. So any of you degenerates out there, keep putting that money on the Mets, baby. Put it on the Mets.
And if you're a Met fan, which I'm hoping you are for watching the show, don't concentrate on the 18%. Concentrate on the 82%. Us Met fans,
you know the Mets fans, baby.
Yeah, 18%. 82% is a really high chance. That's where our focus should be. Let's go Mets.
Me pointing at me as a degenerate. That's Eddie the Cowbell guy says
behind the glass is a degenerate too, right, Keith? Keith, we got
Joe.
We got
you and I are degenerates.
We're 50% degenerates.
half of the show is degenerates.
This guy right here whose armpit I'm poking. Hold on.
Could be worse.
Whoa. Oh wait. Eddie the Cowbell man says hoping to sign Conforto and Lindor to long term. Absolutely, 100%.
Edwin, I've been saying that like crazy.
And we're not going to talk about it, but the Post had a ridiculous article about why it's not prudent for the Mets to sign Lindor to a long-term extension right now. Terzio said, I don't know if you guys discussed it, but another Met coach was dismissed due to accusations. We were not going to touch on this. We don't know everything that's going on with this. Supposedly new news came out after the Porter thing, and I think the most important thing is that he's gone. This is not the same regime. So if anything were to come from this, it is on the old regime. It's not the same old Mets. So I think it's important that we recognize that.
Decisive. He's gone. It's done. Let's move on.
Forget about it. All right.
And before we get in, before we forget about it, it's a Yankees
let's do
team,
it.
You know what it is, right? It's the Skankies.
Oh yeah.
The Skankies that work in the Post because they lost a little bit of luster from their little I want to be the best in the whole world all the time, every single day in New York. I'm the best, whatever I am. You lost a little bit of luster, huh, Skankies?
Wow,
so
that face is frozen.
On our team, to do something to be perverted and do crazy stuff, and then it looks like it's our fault. It's not our fault, Skankies. It's on you. We know you're doing it. You and the Post. It's a conspiracy.
And I heard that the theme song for the Astros this year is "Bang on Your Drum All Day." Sorry, bad joke. Moving along.
That was a good joke 2 years ago, man.
I think it still pertains. Listen, I want all of baseball. So
they didn't get to do diligence. When we have fans in the stands, I like saying that over and over again. Fans in the stands, because that hasn't happened in a long time. Fans in the stands. I want to see the Astros get their Boo City from all the fans because they deserve it. They lucked out last year. They really lucked out last year, man.
They sure did.
They did, man. Bastards. And now, Joe, these guys are getting hired back for job cheating son of a... Never mind. Bell trying to hate me so much.
Oh, man. Rodriguez just upset himself. Big year. And producer Joe says...
I don't know why.
Okay?
No. I didn't mute.
That just freaked me out because it confused the shit out of me.
No, I took a sip down the wrong way. I thought I muted. My apologies, everyone.
I thought Joe jumped in.
I didn't mute, so y'all heard me cough. Oh well, we do our best, ladies and gentlemen.
There's Joe. All right, that was good. That was good stuff. All right, before we get to the top 10 list for both the starting pitchers and the relievers, I want to talk to you about a new sponsor we have. There we go. There's the Rugs.
Ruger's
a new sponsor, which is really localized down here in South Florida, and it is Beauty Moves Med Spa. Their priority is your satisfaction, and their mission is to make sure they are the beauty solution that you trust. They do everything. They can grow your hair back. I'm not going to do it because it's just easier to not have hair. Whoa. Not everything.
You should do it. Take your head off real quick, Farace. Let me see.
I don't want to do it.
And I want to see you go there, and I want to see as much hair
I don't
on
want
your
to
head
do it.
as there is on your face.
It stays. It takes 15 minutes every couple days just to shave it off.
Yeah, do it.
All right. It is the no hair, clear skin, and snatch waist for me. Beauty Moves Med Spa is here to provide you with the best results and experience. Right down below, and for those of you listening on the podcast, head over to 16231 Southwest 88th Street in Kendall. It's a far drive for us in Broward.
Yeah.
786-953-4775. Again, the phone number is 786-953-4775. Either just drive up or give them a call for your free consultation. And anybody who goes there and says Pop Culture Pros, you get 30% off. 30% off.
Boom.
The deep discount.
That's insane. That's insane.
And then, of course, follow them on Instagram. Beauty Moves Spa on Instagram. Results for everybody and every skin type.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to say that. Let me see if I have this here.
And frogs and fish.
Lizards and frogs, scaly skin. Even Brian Hom. Brian Hom could even look better after going there.
That's not possible, and you know it.
Yeah, I knew that. And right now they have a couple specials for the month of February, Valentine's month. They created the Be Mine package is $129, 2 signature facials and 2 lip scrubs, and then head over heels, 2 exclusive facials. I don't know what that means. 2 Casmera masks. I'm butchering that. And 2 lip scrubs. And that is $229. Maybe if the 4 of us head down there, we get an even deeper discount. Yeah? No?
What do we get? 120% off.
120. Very good. All right, let's get back to it. Let's get back to the Mets here. As you guys dial feverishly so that you can make your appointments, get your free consultation.
Can I just say I bit my tongue like 37 times through that whole entire.
That's
piece.
good.
It really is. It was everything that came. Everything I wanted to spit out was really, really, really inappropriate.
Including what you were about to say before you said spit out.
Including what I put in our group chat.
Here it comes. Who's gonna say it?
Oh boy, I haven't seen it. All right, real quick, on MLB.com, they just shut out a little bit of potential news. Mets reportedly were talking a deal with Taijuan Walker, formerly of Seattle. He played for Seattle. So multiple sources are reporting that the Mets are in deep talks with Taijuan Walker, and the Cubs are coming out saying that there was never any discussions for Chris Bryant, which it's probably more to appease Chris Bryant than anything else because they couldn't find a deal that they could do, and the rumors are out there.
Whatever.
All right, Frank, we appreciate you bringing the cowbell with you, baby.
Yeah, thanks, Frank.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
nice. Thank you.
Actually, real quick, Edwin, back in the day, Shea Stadium days, me and my buddy George hit your cowbell a couple times. We used to every once in a while high five you and the sign man. We were kids back then, so that kind of stuff was exciting for us. You made the game a lot more fun, and we definitely appreciate you as a super diehard Met fan. Welcome, and I hope you enjoyed the show, bro.
Mets icon.
And I can't wait to see you in the World Series or hear you in the World Series.
Ring that bell, baby. Ringing that bell.
Let's get to top tens before we close this bad boy out. So every year the MLB Network goes through the top 10 list of each position. They blah blah blah. Here's the top 10 of 2021 as we head into the season, and lo and behold, number 1, baby.
Number one.
Just take it in for a second. A little bit of silence for Jacob deGrom, who's the best there is in the business right now.
I know a friend of mine. His son shares that name. So that magic is going to bring more magic, and we're looking at a third Cy Young this year. That's what I think.
Oh yeah, I like the way you think, Eddie. Yeah, we appreciate that. That's high praise coming from you.
Salutes.
All right. Boom. All right. So, rounding out the list, this is a phenomenal list. And, you got a whole slew of guys that are just phenomenal pitchers. And, the Dodgers have a couple of guys on here. And producer Joe says 2 years running, number one. Last year, number one. He should have been the number one before that. But we'll take what we can get. So, he's the number one pitcher in baseball, which means he's the number one pitcher in New York City, right? Yes.
Well,
Garrett Cole's number two. Garrett Cole's number two. He was
just like a skanky.
Coast to coast.
Deuces.
Yeah. I do have one problem on this list, and we'll get to it. Garrett Cole's number two. I don't have a problem with that. Max Scherzer, number three. I generally don't have a problem with that. But he's getting up there now. So any year now, he's going to start taking that downturn. What do you guys think of Max Scherzer's placement here?
I think until he takes that downturn, he deserves it where he is. That guy is a fierce competitor. I can't stand him because he's not on our team, and we got to compete against him.
Stupid eyes.
But as a baseball fan, stepping outside, which is really hard for me to do. If you watch the show, But stepping outside of my Mets fandom as a baseball fan, you have to really appreciate what a fierce competitor he is. And until he falls off, he deserves that spot. That's my take on that.
It's based on what he's done. It's based on what he's done, not what he's going to do this year. So we can't worry about him sucking this year. We know he's been damn good for the last 10 years. So he's been a pretty good pitcher. He deserves it. Top 10 easily.
But you know what? We're going to light his ass up this year. That's what's going to happen.
We're going to win with that. We hit him well.
Don't you know?
Yeah, we do well. Don't you know? All right. And then our favorite free agent pitcher. I don't know where the graphic went, but our favorite free agent pitcher who's now with the Los Angeles Dodgers to make it a third Dodger on the list is Trevor Bauer at number 4. Now, we've talked at length on this show about, he's had a year and a half worth of greatness. And part of that was the shortened 2020 season. So I already know what Keith is feeling about this, but Rodriguez, do you think that this is too high on the list for him based on, Shane Bieber and what he's accomplished the last couple of years? Really came on in 2020. Should he be ahead of Clayton Kershaw? These type of guys.
If you're basing it on the last couple of years, he's been a really good pitcher. However, there's a few guys that I think are better that could have been on this list instead of him. And to be rated at number 4 after only the last couple of years, if you go for more years, 5 years, he doesn't belong on this list. But if you take the last couple of years, he belongs in the top 15 still, in my opinion, not top 10. I mean, you got Clayton Kershaw all the way down, Walker Buehler, that kid's fantastic. Aaron Nola's fantastic. I mean, Shane Bieber, the kid has pitched great. I mean, these are guys that I think have been better than Bauer for a while already. So, is he too high? Yeah, a little bit. I'd put him at 9. Honestly, if I had to put him on this list, I'd put him at 9 or 10. That's my opinion, just on these last couple of years.
I agree 100%, Rodriguez. I think that's way too high for you. You're going to bump him all the way up to number 4 ahead of some of these great pitchers based off of a 60-game stretch. Because that's really what it was. Granted, that was the full season. He won a Cy Young based off of what the full season was. But he doesn't deserve to jump to number 4 based off of a 60-game stretch. He does not. If he had to be on his list, same like Rodriguez, I put him at 10. But I think he falls outside this list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could bring up a couple names once we get through this. Cowbell says we're gonna rock Trevor Bauer when we face him. Funny, I joined a not I didn't join it, but I watched a portion of a Dodgers live stream yesterday, and they were talking about Bauer, and I jumped in there. I said I cannot wait for Trevor Bauer to pitch in at Citi Field in front of a larger than 10% crowd come August. That's
you
latter
told me that.
part of the season. Bring it on, baby.
He's smart going to Los Angeles. With his big mouth, he never would have survived in New York because we would have ripped him apart eventually. Out there, they don't pay attention to baseball the same way we do out in Queens. It just don't.
They leave early, but
That's
they are World
he
Series
needs to stay in
champions.
LA.
Yeah. I think he stays in LA for the 2 seasons, and then he goes to see what else he can get out there, because at that point he'll be 32. Still plenty of time to get another contract.
My guess is he'll be outside the top 10 Cy Young voting in the next 2 years, and he'll stick with that contract because he jerked them.
I hope so. I hope he's outside the top 50 Cy Young. All right. Then you got Shane Bieber, who I think is adequately placed here. He's really coming to his own. I remember a couple of years ago, I laughed at his name. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what he could do, and then he's doing it. So he's like, "Hey, Farace, shut up."
Nice killing.
I do have an issue with Ryu. My thing with Ryu is, he's been a great pitcher for a half a season, but he's not done it for a full season, and that wasn't even during the 2020 season. 2019, he completely ran out of gas, which is what allowed DeGrom to jump back into the race and take the Cy Young.
But run out of gas,
Rodriguez,
3.32 ERA. I mean, I'd like to run out of gas like that all the time.
Well, look at this. I'm talking about second half of the season. In 2019, I don't know if you could see the splits on that. I think the Baseball Reference, you can see first and second half. He really fell off in the second half, from what I can remember.
No, you're right. I remember.
No, he has.
Yeah.
Yep.
But so Rodriguez, is he adequately placed here? Does he belong in the top 10 after, he had a great half a season in 2019 and then fell? I don't remember what he did last year, but and plus now the move to Toronto, he's going to face the Yankees. I don't know how many times. He's going to face the Red Sox, still have a decent lineup, X amount of time. So what do you think about Ryu?
If he does it when he's not a Dodger and he doesn't have that offense behind him, yeah, he deserves to be on the list. He has a good ERA, like Keith said, he has a good ERA. I mean, if you have a 3-point-something ERA, you're doing something right in this era of baseball. In the old era, it would have been crap, but now in this era, 3.8, 3.9 ERA, people are, oh my God, it's so good. But I mean, the guy keeps the team in the game. He's a lefty. He's tricky. I mean, he's a good pitcher. But top 10, I wouldn't be afraid to face him. Those type of guys like him, I'm not afraid to face him, because when you face a guy like that, you just sit back and wait. The thing, he'll make you lunge. He'll make you try to reach and do all these crazy things. But if you just sit back and wait, you can slap those soft tosses everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So a guy like that, I wouldn't place him in the top 10. But I mean, I would have placed him again like I did with Bauer, 8 or 9 in this field.
With these 10, but if you really take the time to think about it, there could be guys 11 through 20 that we would pop into the top 10. Eddie says
top 20.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Top 20.
I mean, you think about it, every team has five starting pitchers, plus the other guys that they run out there are starting pitchers. So top 20 is really freaking damn good. Eddie says we're gonna boo him like we booed Chase Utley. Boo him harder. Boo him more. We hate Chase Utley, but just boo him more.
First and second half for Ryu, 1.73 ERA in 17 starts with a 10-2 record. Second half was 4-3. 12 starts with a 3.18 ERA, which is still pretty
fantastic.
Good. Still a pretty good ERA.
Still great.
So
but it was enough to get us to Cy Grom Part 2. That's great.
All
right, so of course. Then you got Clayton Kershaw, which I'm not going to, even if he had a shit season last year, I would never argue with that because he's dominated, for a decade.
He should be in Trevor Bauer's spot, but anyway.
He's been phenomenal. I do not know much about Lamet. I'll be fully honest here. I have not done any research on that, so I don't know if you guys know much about him. But if not, we'll just take a pass on him. Aaron Nola,
hard-throwing righty, I guess. But other than that,
young pitcher had one good year. It was 2020. Before that, not so much. So, I guess
and he's top 10.
It's based off his potential, I guess. But I mean, a 60-game stretch, he had a good run.
That's the shredder, right?
It's the shredder. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
We know the shredder, baby.
Shredder has no heart.
Yeah, screw the shredder. Just catching up on the comments. Eddie said, "Boom!" Like we booed John Rocker. I love that. Terzio said Ryu should be number 10, Walker to number 6. I do like that. I'm just based on what we have here, I might move Bauer down to 10, just based on these 10 names. Like Rodriguez, you were saying, Bauer down to 10, maybe Ryu 9-ish, maybe 7 ahead of Lamet, but again, no disrespect to him. Then you got Aaron Nola, who's the number 1 over in Philadelphia, who we're also going to beat up on. I do believe that Aaron Nola is a top 10 pitcher in the league, so I have no qualms about that. Walker Buehler in at number 10. Walker Buehler could be higher up on Walker Buehler, like Terzio said, he could be number 6 on this list.
Walker Buehler's top 5 any given day. So
100%. Now
I could play with them, except for the ground.
Now here, don't touch the ground. Don't touch that ground. I'm just gonna throw a few names out there, and you guys, yes or no, should they be in the top 10? Yu Darvish.
No.
Okay. Luis Castillo from the Reds.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tough one. Yeah, I'm gonna go with yes.
I think he's definitely. I also think Yu Darvish is also borderline. He was 3rd in the league in Cy Young last year. I mean, look at his career as a whole, and I don't know it by heart, but perfectly good there. What about Blake Snell?
I mean, I would. I don't hate on Yu Darvish so much, but he hasn't been consistent. I like for him to be consistent for 2 or 3 years, at least.
Okay, what about?
I'm a big Snell fan, but top 10, I'm not sure about that. He had one great year, and he's a good pitcher after and before that.
Top 20 is not a bad thing. Top 20 is not a bad thing.
No, without a doubt. But top 10 is a stretch.
Yep.
All
right. All right. So I was just looking at a list from Fangraphs, who I do enjoy their articles and whatnot, but they have to their top 10 real quick. DeGrom at number 1, Shane Bieber at number 2, which I wouldn't argue against. Garrett Cole at number 3, Buehler at number 4, which I would not argue against. Yu Darvish at number 5. Clayton Kershaw, number 6, Scherzer 7, Bauer 8, Lucas Giolito from the White Sox, number 9, and Zach Gallen from the Arizona, number 10. I think it's a little early for Giolito and Gallen, but I do think Snell could potentially be one. I do think Darvish, if he's not in the top 10, he's right outside the top 10.
For what? Because he had one good 60-game stretch last year. He had some great years, but. Yes, the last couple years before that, he's been a good pitcher, but not top 10 pitcher. He had a good 60-game stretch last year. I guess I have a lot of issue basing things off of a 60-game stretch. Maybe
what's his career ERA?
And you should. You're right.
His career ERA is a 3.47. 2019, if we're going on ERA, 2019, 3.98, 31 starts. 2018,
that was his rough year in Chicago, right?
5. His last year, and then he was with the Dodgers before that, and started. Well, it was 2017 Dodgers and Texas, 3.86 and 31 starts. and then so on and so on from there.
Okay.
He's a top pitcher. I don't know about top 10, my opinion.
Okay, yeah, and that the year with the Dodgers, I know that he had an issue with tipping pitches, and especially going to the World Series. Let's take a quick look at relievers, and then we'll put a big old orange and blue ribbon on this bad boy. So again, MLB Network, they go from starting pitchers all the way to right field and beyond. So let's talk about this and whether or not there should be any Mets in this list, because there are no Mets on this list. Number one was a guy that I really wanted the Mets to sign, just didn't come through. Was Liam Hendricks. He was ranked 4th last year. He's number 1 on the charts this year. And these days relievers, they're fluid. It doesn't have to be your closer. Although Hendricks will likely be closer there. I think we lost Rodriguez. So Hendricks moves from Oakland to Chicago. Did a phenomenal job last year, which is why I really wanted him in a Met uniform. What do you think about that as number 1, Keith?
I mean, okay, so relievers are really hard to track as a baseball fan. The top guys, but there's a lot of guys in baseball. If you're a top starter, pretty much if you're a baseball fan, no matter what team you're a fan of, the top starters. Not always with relievers, because every year it changes in and out. But from what I know from Hendricks, because same as you, I want him as a Met, I agree on his number 1 status. The guy is pretty solid, man. He's a great reliever. Would have been great to have on the team.
It was fantastic. I mean, just look at his stats line. Look at his look at the eye test and everything. He was a shutdown guy. But Keith, to your point, 7 of the top 10 were not ranked last year.
Yeah, it's relievers like that.
Bullpens,
it's hard.
Yep, 100%. I mean, you got Brad Hand, who wasn't on there, Nick Anderson, Devin Williams, James Karinchak of Cleveland, Drew Pomerantz. Yeah, and then you got these guys who, they used to be starters. Now they're moving to the bullpen, and they showed, phenomenal stuff.
Start of 2019, you may have had Edwin Diaz in top 3.
Yeah. And then in 2020, he was ranked 403rd. So that's just how it is. Then you get down, you got a couple familiar names further down the list. Aroldis Chapman at number 7. He was number 2 last year as a Yankee, now number 7. He who laughs at getting, it's funny because both New York closers tend to smile after giving up big game-winning home runs.
I don't get it. Maybe it's a nervous thing.
Right. Like how for screw Chapman because he's on the other side of town. But now, looking back on Edwin Diaz, it's like, for me, I maybe I would have smiled too. Like how the hell did he hit that ball that far? But you still don't want these guys smiling after
not
these
enough
things,
movement, big guy.
For sure. Flat line slider. Yeah. And then you got a couple more guys. I'm not going to pretend I know these guys in depth. Aaron Bummer, that's a hell of a name
Frank
for a reliever.
Says, Duffy's overrated. I'll take his word for it.
So for Minnesota, Tyler Duffy, and then Josh Hader comes in at number 10. I like this I hate Josh Hader because he dominates the Mets. I love Josh Hader because he is a dominating reliever, and I wish there would have been a point in the last couple of seasons that we'd have been able to get him. But it would have cost us. I know in one trade scenario, it would have cost us Squirrel, and I'm just not up for that. So I think Squirrel is too vital to this team, even for a reliever like this guy.
The Squirrel, and like we just said about relievers with the up and down. No way. And again, to Frank's point, he said Hader should be number 2. I tend to agree because they're putting him at number 10 based off of a 60-game stretch. I'm going to keep saying that until the season starts, but it is what it is.
I guess I guess they kind of have to because that's what they have to go by of the season. But
but as a fan, you have to look at it and say, is that truly what he's worth? In a 60-game stretch, you can have an amazing run. You can have a slump, but after 162 games, it all kind of equals out, doesn't it?
Yep. Yeah, Marlins.
Bingo.
Bingo was his name. The Marlins had a sub 500 record in 9-inning games last year. They played several 7-inning games and they did well there. So that's the top 10. I don't want to go too much into this. Yeah, thanks Frank for watching. I don't want to go too much into the relievers because it's just not. It's constant. It's a lot of churn. The churn rate is every single year.
Yeah,
that's what she said. So let's go beyond the relievers here, and a couple of things here, just from my calendar. We didn't go over this last year. I'll make this quick, Joe. Don't worry about this. In 2019, Michael Conforto passed the 20 home run mark for the third consecutive year, making only the second Mets player in the decade to have 3 in a row. The other guy was Curtis Granderson, the Grandy Man can.
The Grandy Man.
He is a crowd favorite, right, Eddie? Who was the first cleanup hitter for the Mets? And I got it right because they always talk about him.
First cleanup hitter for the Mets? I don't know. Cleon Jones? I don't think
it was not Cleon Jones.
He was
they talk about this guy as like being a big guy,
but he was at the end of his career, right? I don't know.
Frank Thomas.
Oh, Frank Thomas. That's right. I have his card.
Caucasian Frank Thomas. All right.
The big white.
Not the big hurt was such a good player.
I loved him.
Power, man. And that swing, the swing was weird, but it worked.
I love the more
worked.
The AL and not in the NL. I didn't have to deal with it.
There you go, Eddie. Yeah, we definitely have to sign Conforto long term. I'm with you on that. David Wright, 2007, hitting 14 straight games to start the season, a Mets record. That still stands. The captain. I'm going to skip this bad boy. The National League East Division title in 1973 was the only division title won by a team other than the two teams that dominated the division at that time. Remember, it wasn't so many divisions back then, and that was the Pirates and the Phillies. So the Mets in 1973, the other 9 years, Pirates or Phillies.
Wow.
This has something to do with this year, and I don't get. I mean, I like them, but I don't get the obsession of them. In 1998, the Mets introduced black to their uniform color scheme, but it was eliminated in 2013. I have a feeling we're going to get them back on maybe a once a week basis, maybe Friday nights at home. I do like them. I have no issue with them, but I don't get the obsession with it. Happened right after Cohen. Yeah, it was one of the things that the fans asked Cohen in that thing on Twitter.
It became a thing. Now it's a thing, and it's a thing of the thing.
Thing.
Have fun with it. I think that's all it is. I don't think it's.
Here's an interesting question, and you guys in the comments can respond if you like. What was the first Mets player to win a top baseball award in the history of the New York Mets? So when I say top, I mean Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, batting champion, that kind of thing.
There's only one I can guess, and that would be the franchise. Maybe a Roy or
you got it, man. You got it, man. You got it. There we go. All right. And then actually for today, pretty good find. The Mets took Jeff McNeil, Squirrel, in the 12th round of the MLB first-year player draft in 2013 out of Long Beach
Tom
State.
Brady, ladies and gentlemen.
He's our current day Mike Piazza.
I love him, and I heard he's a hell of a golfer.
I see him all the time on the golf course. They put him on Instagram and all that stuff. All right, so that'll wrap it up for us. Another, this is our very first spring training episode. We'll go through a few of these, and then we'll get back into the season, the routine. We'll start season 4 of this bad boy, and as we've teased a few times over the weeks, we will get to official episode number 100 in the coming weeks. So we're trying to get a few things planned out for you guys. Maybe a giveaway or Pete Alonso cards. But we are working on some cool things for you. And right before we close out, producer Joe, if you put up the Sterling's Paradise real quick, so we can get you guys some good food out there.
Well, that's coming up.
Sterling's.
Ed. Appreciate you.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate that, Ed. We appreciate you joining. We're on right now. We're on every Wednesday, and then during the season, obviously, we'll catch off days or we've done pregame shows before, so we'll kind of do that. Right? Monday and Thursday.
Thursday.
All right, Sterling's Paradise, authentic Haitian cuisine. It really is just phenomenal. They're located down here in South Florida. It's another South Florida thing. 360 State Road 7 in Margate. Phone number is 754 for those of you listening on the podcast, 754-971-8955. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, just phenomenal food. So you can search them out on Grubhub and all those things. I'm not sure if they're on Uber Eats, but just easy ways to get them. Phenomenal food, great lunch specials. So check them out. Give them a call and place your order today. I'm already hungry. We do this every week. We get hungry on the show.
And we know we know them personally. They are amazing people. They will make everything you eat with love.
Con amor.
For real. Go Sterling's Paradise.
Yeah, definitely check them out. They're hop, skip, and a jump right here in Margate. All right, so that'll do it for us this week on Spring Training episode numero 1. That's Spanglish. That's what we do down here. Keith, any closing remarks for you?
Baseball's back, baby. Woo! And that's all I got to say. Brian Hom sucks.
Brian Hom does suck. My closing remarks, baseball's back. The interviews are going. We're going to start seeing workouts. 28th is the very first spring training game. So a lot of good stuff. Capacity at Clover Park is going to be about, the same, about 10 to maybe 20%. So about 1,400 fans will be allowed. I think that, season ticket holders got first dibs. And then Saturday, I think some of the other tickets go on sale. So that'll wrap it up for us this week. Head over to PopCulturePros.com for your latest on sports, entertainment, movies, all this stuff. It's just a bunch of goodness. Join us on the Facebook group, on the Facebook fan page, YouTube. Where else can we be found? Keith, is there an acronym YSA out there?
Yeah, there's YSA, Pony Express.
Express. All right.
Oh, and real quick, speaking, you said there's some interviews. Go onto the Put It in the Book show on Facebook, and you will see the Luis Castillo video, which is really posted up by SNY, but we want you to go to our site. Right. He talks a lot about, it's an hour-long interview, really good, a lot of insight on what he's thinking as a manager and what the Mets are going to look like this year. Check it out.
All right. We'll talk to you guys next week right here